Okay. All right. Sessions with Keysha. Okay. Hey guys, what is up? This is Keysha, and I'm back today to do another video. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad to have you all here today. Long time no talk, but this ain't about me, okay? All right, I am so glad that we have this ball back rolling over here, and we are interviewing guests again. And today I want to interview my lovely guest. I want to first introduce you guys to my lovely guest, Miss Destiny Jordan. But without further ado, I have to first tell you who she is and how important she is to the writing community, okay, as it pertains to creative entrepreneurs, okay? All right. Miss Destiny Jordan is a writer and the founder of Crown Ink Publishing Incorporated. And she's also the host of Pen by Design podcast. Everything that she builds run through one belief system, and that's pen your story, designed specifically by you. Whether she's coaching a writer through their first manuscript or teaching a room full of creative entrepreneurs how to actually use AI tools without losing their edge, Destiny's work is about helping people own their voice instead of outsourcing it. Over the past several years, Destiny has gone deep into the utilization of AI tools, not as a trend to chase, but as a way to work smarter without sacrificing what makes her work hers. She writes faster. She writes faster. She builds content systems and runs her business much leaner, all while keeping the human fingerprint on everything that she creates. That balance, efficiency without losing yourself, is the core of what she teaches other writers and creator entrepreneurs to do as well. Through Crown and Ink Publishing and the Pen by Design podcast, Destiny is building more than a brand. She's also building a community of creatives who refuse to choose between smart business and authentic storytelling, proving that you can have them both. Without further ado, I would like to introduce you to somebody who is near and dear to my heart, Miss Destiny Jordan.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for that great introduction.
Oh, I could say way, way, way more.
Happy to
Okay,
be here.
thank you so much for being with us today, Miss Destiny. As long as I have known you, you have been one of the youngest, oldest souls that I've known. Like, and you are super intelligent. And it always amazes me how you're able to keep up with all of this information and the changes that takes place within the writing community. And now we have a layer to add on to the writing community, and that is AI, right? And so I want you to kind of give a backstory on what AI is and what really piqued your interest with AI as a novelist, as a writer, as a creative person. What kind of piqued your interest with incorporating AI into the writing world?
Sure. So with AI, it was a slow start for me because I just didn't understand it. So when ChatGPT came out, I was not an early adopter. I was kind of like that mid-range adopter. After a thousand million people had got onto ChatGPT, then I got on. I was like, okay, what do you do with this? And at first, I was like, it wasn't really that comprehensive yet. Early on that 2019 era, it wasn't quite there yet, so I didn't do much with it for a while. Not until about 2024. Yeah, 2024 is when I really started to kind of lean more into it. Also because I moved to a different district. area, and there my job was like, oh, you should use more AI, and so we learned more about it, and just seeing that it had grown, there are more tools, there was more functionalities for it. I thought that was really cool. Especially, I think the first best one was the image generation. Now that
Mm-hmm.
one was very interesting because it's graphics, custom graphics. Those were hard to come by. You had to know someone, had to go on Fiverr. You kind of had to, and you only would mostly get one with limited edition, renditions. It was just more of a hassle than it was worth. Or you learned it yourself, and you are on Canva. You're on Canva trying to do your own graphics the best you can, and
Mm-hmm.
you let it, and then look, then you put it out to the world because you tried your best. Then paying for each time. And so when that came around, that's when I really jumped on it to see how you can do graphics and just starting there. And it started piece by piece for me. And then of course I'm a little bit of a techie, so I I love to like. I feel like I want to break the tool or see how far I can push it to
Yeah.
see if it's worth the while of investment. So I started everything on free. I
Okay.
had multiple free accounts. And so my thing is I used to do where I would have multiple different emails just so I can have hit my limits on each free account as I went through. And after I kind of hit my head on all the limitations of the free accounts, you know what? I'm using it well over enough than juggling all these free accounts just to get more users out of it.
Okay.
I think it's worth the investment to pay the monthly subscription or the yearly subscription. There's many that now have yearly subscriptions, and I think that's the best bang for your buck moving forward with AI. So
Mm-hmm.
now that you can really customize it and make it more uh, efficient for you, I feel that's where it's kind of changed me for me and my business. Like, oh, because sometimes you need an assistant, but sometimes we're not ready to pay for an assistant or a human assistant because maybe you don't have the finances from your books or writings as of yet. So
Mm-hmm.
AI has really been helpful for that bridge of having an assistant to get a lot of things done that are probably repetitive. They're just part of the business for admin work, things like that, and just kind of makes it fast for you, so you become more of the editor of your own life than trying to do more of a director, or say, and you may edit and tweak a few things, and then it makes it faster for your workflows, especially for any admin or things that you repeatedly do. Like you always need an image for something, you always need some music for something, and it's hard to sometimes find things that are free to use without you getting dinged and all that. So that's kind of where my evolution of it has grown into this year. I'm really in almost have a fully automated AI processes that work well in my business.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. And I want to kind of uh, piggyback on something that you said. Um, you cover a broad range of you mentioned editing, for example, but you cover a broad range of AI applications, writing, design, video, audio, even editing, as you mentioned, and organization. Which of these areas, in your opinion, do you find creators struggle with or benefit from the most?
I would say off of that it would be editing because when you're paying for editors, which are great depending on the type of editors you need, like as the copy editor, developmental editor, just depending on which ones you need sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Those are pretty steep costs, especially for developmental editors for new authors that may not be very familiar with how stories work. They may have plot holes, and it's best that you fix them before the readers see them and you have a bad first impression because you only get one chance for a first impression when it comes to readers.
Yeah.
And with that, that's why I think the best one to go for. Now, I do tell authors like, hey, if you're going to use AI for editing, which is great, there's still you still want a human editor, but you may really want like if AI edits your book or tells you notes about your book, then you may just need a human proofreader at that
Okay.
point. And so that's a significant less cost than having a developmental editor or a copy editor compared to buying a proofreader. That's much lower, and it also keeps you for having a better return on investment when you have lower costs for inputting the book. So when you're buying your covers, you're buying your formatting, you're buying all these ISBNs, those costs add up, and so then your book has to work so hard for you to make a profit on it. But if you use AI to kind of cut down on some of the costs, then your book has a better chance of surviving and be able to be profitable sooner than than paying for a lot of things. So editing would be the best place to start for authors, and then the second one I would recommend will be marketing. That'd be the second one. Just market, just images, not even doing the audio and video, just the images, because you can make more than enough images on, especially ChatGPT. They have a good image generator, and Gemini has a good image generator. That with a good prompt, you can get your 10 images to promote your book with quotes or whatever you have, and all you gotta do is post one a day. You get 5 posts once a day, and you've done partially of your marketing, and so that's a good cost as
Okay, awesome. And it's so weird because I remember when you were sending me stuff at random and you were like, "Oh, this is what I've done with AI this week." And you've really been on me for a while by about utilizing AI for my books and for my business, and I'm just like, and so even though you weren't an early adopter, when you went in and you were trying to bring the rest of the creative writers around you with you, like, hey, we have to hop on this AI train. So I definitely applaud you for that. However, with so many options available, how how do you kind of well, I'll say this: with so many options, it's easy to become overwhelmed, right? Because you have so many different options, and AI and the technology revolution is moving really, really fast. So you have a webinar that's coming up on August the 15th. And you're going to be in there teaching all of us how to leverage AI for our business as creatives. How does this webinar help authors such as myself or creators to use AI without feeling overwhelmed because there are so many options?
well. That's a really good question. And with that, yes, there are a lot of tools out now. There's feels like every week there's new AI tools like, hey, try this one, hey, try this one, and there's so many to choose from. So it's pretty easy to get overwhelmed. And then of course, you can't really always take the word of someone else. So then of course you want to try it, but you can't. Well, you will be testing tools to the end of time at this rate of AI. But I would say for me, I would look at the AI companies that have been, that are kind of the oldest, basically. Those
Okay.
would be the good ways to start. So the
Okay.
oldest technically AI companies, which number one is Google. Now Google is a little late contender when it comes to the AI scene, but however, Google had used some forms of AI previously before ChatGPT came out. But Google's kind of the old head. ChatGPT, just because of how it kind of really opened the door for a lot of people to start thinking about how to use AI, and Claude, which, funny enough, the creator of Claude is an engineer from ChatGPT that he left and created his own company, which is Claude. So that was kind of funny.
Wow.
Those are, I would say, my top three to start with, especially Google. Google, we all love Google because it's interconnectivity. So with Google, their AI, which Gemini AI is their brand of AI. Gemini connects to every other AI tool. So if you did one AI tool like Google Labs with Flow that does their videos,
Okay.
there's Gemini Notebooks, which I think is the best kind of AI for research, and also just to make like study materials from it. Like if you were studying trends for a particular genre, you make you a notebook and you put in all the links or all the things you found on that topic in one area. You can make yourself little videos for it. You could have a podcast that explains the in depth of how has romance novels increased? What are the top five type of romance genres that are best to use now going in 2026, 2027? what are the tropes. Like you could get a whole AI overview, or sorry, an audio overview, which is like a podcast to listen to if you're a better listener. Videos it will create for you so you can watch them if you do that. There's flashcards, like it's really made to help you study the material and help you study your market. And I think that's best because not all of us, we can't all read something and get the same information. I may need to hear it, I may need to see it, I may need to see the video. Like I may need the whole gambit to finally understand the information because as information is coming out very quickly, the thing is that we need to learn is how to digest it. And with Gemini notebooks, it's the best way for people to learn how to digest as much information as they need for their business. What ChatGPT has done a lot of strides moving forward. They have projects. They have custom GPTs you can make specifically for your business. So I do have quite a few like in-house custom GPTs that work phenomenally for my business. So I say, look, I need a book blurb. Here is the premise of it. Maybe a five or four, like five, maybe a couple, a sentence or two, in my custom GPT because it has knowledge base about who I am, my business, and my brand of book. And I say, here's what I have, and boom, it gives me a good synopsis that I can use. And of course, I can tweak it I'll tweak a little bit of it, but most of the time it's pretty good off the press now because AI's gotten smarter. So as you're looking at those are the top threes I would use. And you don't have to use everything. If you're like, look, I just need marketing, then just use it for marketing. Use one AI for marketing and just let it be. That could be more than enough for your business. If you say, hey, my biggest thing is I just need editing, use Claude. That's all you need, then that's all AI you need. I'm not really telling get people to use AI for everything, but find what you really need that is a bottleneck for you, and then choose an AI. Choose one AI to solve that one problem. Because I like to tell everyone, AI is just a very cool computer. That's all it is, or a very cool calculator. It's based on the inputs you put in will affect your output. There's no way it can be a human. There's no way it could be you. You will always be you, but you need to learn how to use tools to increase the speed of you. That's what
Okay, awesome. Okay, awesome. All right. Um, and as a follow up to what you said, just use the ones that just use it for marketing if you want to just focus on one thing. Now, in your workshop that is coming up, how can you how do you help the attendees figure out which specific AI tools are the right fit for their unique creative process?
So I will kind of start. So how to help the attendees? I would tell you like what's the best for a couple of ranges. Like a lot of people know ChatGPT, so that's kind of where I would start. So ChatGPT, you could actually really do a lot of things with ChatGPT, and you wouldn't have to use the other two tools. If you
Okay.
said, "Look, my home is ChatGPT. I don't want to learn anyone else," then that's fine. ChatGPT you can do a lot of editing in ChatGPT. Images can be made. Marketing images can be made in ChatGPT. ChatGPT is also just a great personal assistant. Really, that's the best output for it. So if let's say you were thinking of a story and you're like, hey, here's the premise of my story right now, and I feel like I'm missing something. Give me some ideas to fill it in. Now it's not thinking for you, but it's giving you some ideas, and you can take them or you can leave them. But at least it helps you get out of some of your rut or writer's block by having inspiration from other ideas that are not from you. And you could be fine with ChatGPT. If you say, "Hey, Destiny, I need more writing assistance. Like I want to, like let's say I've helped a couple people where they want to write blog posts about their books." And you're like, look, blog post writing is very different from novel writing. It's a different type of cadence and different type of feel. But they're like, it's just more writing, and I don't think I can do both novel writing and this other blog post writing. How can it help me? Well, then I would say Claude would be the best one for creative writing. It keeps the most human voice than the other tools. And since Claude was trained more on like human verbiage and like natural cadences, that's the best one for like blog post writing, social media writing, things like that. That's look, and that could be your one-stop shop. Gemini is for if you just want things to connect. That's really what Gemini is built on. If
Yeah.
you do videos for your like AI, if you do like trailers for your books, Gemini Flow, which is through Gemini Labs or Google Labs,
Mhm.
that works over there. If you also want to do like, hey, I want some copy, social media copy, use regular Gemini. If, hey, if I want to do some studying about these types of niches or genres, then you can use Gemini Notebooks. It's just really the interconnectivity of Gemini that you could use. That that would be one way you could have multiple purposes in one AI creative area. And if you want to be fancy, like, hey, I like my readers a lot, and I want to make a custom app for them where they are the first ones to get like maybe my drops of new projects or these like random projects, and they just want to be a part of my world. I'm gonna create an app for them that only people that are subscribed to that app that I've created,
Mhm.
they are get a part of that as another income stream.
Mhm.
And Gemini has an AI studio where it can help you build an app. And you can just slide your information from the other apps that you may be using into that application. That's a little more advanced, but it's also a good way if you want to do other income streams, more unique way income streams for your readers. So I would just say for how to help the attendees, I would showcase a little bit of the exceptionalities of each platform and saying just pick one, whichever suits more of what the one you need. If you only need writing, I would say Claude all day. And I would show a
Mhm.
couple of things I've showed other clients about how to use Claude, and that's all they use. I'm like, great. I am just a generalist because I like to be on top for my clients so I can kind of show them a way of AI to use, AI not to look at at all. Like, some AI is not worth looking at. They're big on tokens. You spend your money, you don't get much out of it. So I love to test tools and tell you what works and what doesn't work so you don't waste your time.
Okay, awesome. Good, good, good. Now, you kind of answered this already, but I want you to kind of maybe remind us again. How do you personally differentiate between ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini, and how do they complement each other in a creator's workflow?
All right, I'm gonna start off with how it works in my workflow since I
Okay,
have so many
okay,
tools, but how those particular three I use the most. Well, yeah, I use those the most compared to a couple others. So
okay.
chat is kind of like my personal assistant. I'm like, hey chat, I'm trying to do this and I don't know what to do. Give me some ideas. And chat's kind of like, okay, here we go. And my chat's personalized to me and how I speak. So my chat comes off pretty sassy at times. He's like, okay, girl, what you want to do? Is like, look, we trying to build something today, and it'll walk me through the steps of doing stuff like that. So I use that chat GPT as like a personal assistant to kind of get work done for me. Also, if I need a quick image, then I'll use the GBT images in there as well if I need it. That's kind of how I use my Chat GBT, especially it helps me organize. Chat's more in my organization area, where if I'm working on any types of many different projects, personal or business, it's easier to organize in Chat than other AIs. If I hop over to Claude, Claude is my writer, so it's basically like my ghost writer if I needed it. So it helps me with social media copy, my blog posts, which people are like, oh no, it writes for you. Let me explain. So AI cannot really make anything from nothing. You have to give it some type of input. So a lot of times, if I write in my journal, or if I write in my journal, or if I speak a note about something I'm thinking about today, I was like, hey, I want to turn this into a social media post, or I want to turn this poem I read or I wrote today into a blog post. I've written blog posts by hands, and so I know how hard that can be to convert one form of writing into another. And it takes time. My couple blog posts I made without AI took me about 2 hours each, and I'm thankful for that I learned more that skill. But there's a faster way to do it because I have other things I'm trying to do as well. So I've built a Claude project that does my blog post. And it starts from my input of whatever I'm writing about already, and it converts it to how I like to do my blog post. And that's how I do it. And then I'll do images. I'll get the images from chat, and they all go into Substack. And that's how I keep it moving over there. Um, One thing I do, this is a extra tidbit note. If you want to get into like voiceovers for your content of some form, and you don't want to do voiceovers for whatever reason, you don't want to hear your voice, or you just don't like it, there's another AI tool called 11 Labs that has really good AI voices that they sound really well for humans and things like that. And so if I want someone to be able to listen to my blog post, I will get a voice from 11 Lab to read over my blog post. So someone who may need that to hear my blog post rather than read it has that also option as well. That's just a small tidbit for anything you want to do with voices. And if I really want, now Gemini is a jack of all trades, master of none, because Gemini can do a lot of things. Google's AI called Gemini can do a lot of things. So that's just what I want to place. If I want to test something, I will use Gemini to test some things because it can do so many things, and sometimes a lot of times I don't really use it in anything specific, but to test concepts. I'm gonna try to make an image over there, see how it looks. If I like it or not, I may go to chat. I'm gonna try to have a workflow or idea for a workflow over there. I may use that. If I use the Notebook LM or just Gemini Notebooks, name change. Gemini Notebooks over there. If I'm studying something, like I'm actually studying something, really in depth. Like I think recently I was studying Gothic literature because I like certain elements in Gothic literature, but I don't know all the components of it. Why is it Gothic? Who are Gothic writers? Like I'm trying to get some of those pieces, but I don't know that. So I'm studying that, and now I will use Gemini notebooks for that reason. If I was building anything else, like if I was trying to build an app, then there's actually two AIs you can use for that. You can use Base 44 to build an app as well, or a super agent. That's getting in the weeds. Those are the reasons I would do those. So Gemini is for testing, Claude is for writing, and ChatGPT is for a personal system to kind of work things through, and then you figure out tools that work better than that. Which may not be Chat. Chat is good about saying like, look, I am not a tool to be using for this workflow. Go use these tools. I was like, okay, Chat, adios, and I work from there.
Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. I know when you told me that you've trained your AI to sound like you, the more that I've used it, my AI sounds like when I was working with my AI the other day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's starting to sound like me. My AI literally sounds like a homegirl from around the way. I'm just like, what? Like this is creepy. It's cool, but it's creepy. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so it's funny that you said that because I've been noticing that too. Like you feed it, it doesn't, it computes and tells you the best choices, but it definitely can sound like you once you train it to sound like you. So it's funny you say that.
I do have one thing to add on that.
Huh?
So I do have one thing to add on
Okay.
that.
Okay. Go ahead.
If your viewers have any paid accounts for AI, like a paid Claude account,
Mm-hmm.
paid ChatGPT, or any paid options of AI, I would say I always stress to change your privacy settings so that you don't feed your information to the AI company. That's back in your settings. Just because for it's been happening that a lot of businesses they're using AI, they're using what they have, and they have paid accounts, but they don't change those privacy settings so that I could, if Kellogg, if I was after Kellogg or after Scholastics, and they were doing this project on like a new version of green eggs and ham, and I'm a children's author, if their settings are not set to privacy settings, like where it doesn't feed into, that information can end up. If I was searching that can be searched, and the AI could tell me, hey, Scholastics is doing this type of project right now. Here's how it can help you and your stuff right now. I can know what they know if they don't change their settings. So for businesses, I would tell them all the time, like, please have your settings set to these settings so that your business information is not leaked out, because AI is all about optimizing and getting custom information for the user. So if I am looking up something, if I was doing competitor analysis, and my competitors are not have their settings don't have their settings set, I can learn about them. because they're
Wow.
using AI. I can learn all I need to know, and so I could be ahead of them on a certain project and like, hey, how does she know that? I said, you need to change your settings, friend. And so I do tell people, please change their settings on all AIs that they're using that have a paid account. Now, if you're on a free account, do not use your free AI account for business. Don't do it at all because you don't have a choice or option to change your privacy settings on a free account. So that's the only thing I would like to say on that if they do.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for that information, and that's some of the wealth of knowledge that this young lady has, and so this is why you definitely should be attending this workshop that she has coming up on the 15th. Speaking of the workshop, so paid attendees receive dedicated guides for ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. What can attendees expect to learn from these bonus resources that you will provide in the workshop?
So with those resources, they will also get the prompts I'm using.
Mm-hmm.
So I will go over how to prompt, but also they'll get a breakdown of how to prompt and some of the prompts I used in the workshop. I would also be kind of overview of all of the kind of functionalities within the platform. So ChatGPT, just had a big update about ChatGPT work
Mm-hmm.
that is kind of agentic. So that's really cool to use if they're in advanced and need that type of work stream.
Mm-hmm.
About all the other businesses of ChatGPT, they have a finance section. So if
Mm-hmm.
you were really running your finances of your business, like, hey, I need to really see, am I in the red or the black right now? Here
Mm-hmm.
are my financial documents. Like, here it is. And of course, my settings are set to private, so no one else would know that but me on my ChatGPT server, that type of thing. And they even have a health version of it as well in ChatGPT. So just to kind of see all the options you have in ChatGPT about what you can use, what you could possibly use it for, if you need it for your business or if you want to use it for personal reasons. Especially with Claude, I would probably the Claude one will be about more about the writing parts of Claude, about
Mm-hmm.
how to, especially like Claude skills, which is just a very long instruction base for a very specific skill. So my blog post, that could be a skill where every time I put this long, very long prompt in,
Mm-hmm.
this is the output that will always get, no matter what, because the prompt is set to whatever I have it set to. And I would kind of show you like, here's how you would make one for your own,
Mm-hmm.
because I have one for YouTube that's for my Claude. I have one for like different blog post writing. I have one for social media. I
Mm-hmm.
have one for computer analysis, types of things. I have
Mm-hmm.
one for short videos. So that's where you would learn how to use those, understand those types of skills. Claude is a very, very good AI tool because it has actually four functionalities. There's Claude Code, there's Claude Work, there's now new is Claude Design. So if you are doing presentations for your book or whatever, if you were like a children's novelist or a picture book person, you can give presentations to the teachers about how to teach your book to their second, third, or fourth graders. Oh, teachers would love that because they don't have to create the material. That's a more selling point for you. Because look, I can make all. You can say, hey, when you get my book, you get all these teaching resources already built in. So schools would love that. They will be all over that because schools know their teachers do not want to create another thing. They will like everything handed to them, and it's just great for you. And you can charge a premium cost for that. Now it may take you only a weekend to do it, but that doesn't matter because you can still charge like $10,000 for that premium cost. It takes you one weekend. Why? Because the power of AI, and you also control the quality of it, but also you have leverage because you are being a resource to the teachers as if that's needed. Even if you were doing presentations on a professional level, you can do that as well if you need that. So that's kind of what the Claude one. Gemini is, as I said earlier, it's like a jack of all trades. So it just kind of depends on which side of Gemini do you want to be on. Do you want to be on the study side with Gemini notebooks? Do you want to be on the video side with Google Labs? Do you want to be on just a general chat side, which is just Gemini itself? It can just chat for you and just do small things. Whereas you could test the idea for a website in Gemini. You could test an idea for an image in Gemini. You can even do music in Gemini just to see if you can get some custom music for your brand. that no one else can find it. Only on your websites and your social media, you have that certain song or certain sound, and that's what I've done for my podcast. So my podcast has a theme song that I wrote the lyrics. AI kind of helped me because I was trying to think of some different ways to put some phrasing, but I mainly wrote the lyrics. I got the song created via Suno AI, and that's placed in my podcast. So if anytime people hear the theme song, they're going to associate it with my brand and the podcast. And so you can do the same thing with an author. We can now with AI we can mimic what big brands do. Like you have on all aspects. It's just then taking the time to do them. And as as you make more money, you can hire more people and train them how to do it. And it makes life easier for you so you can be either a one person machine or a small team of like three or four, and you're moving faster because of the speed of AI.
Okay, awesome. So it's good to know that you have all of these options, and you can not just have all these options, but you can shape it and form it to fit your specific needs. And you have the ability to help us do that. So that's awesome. So, how do you address concerns for authors and creators who worry that using AI might compromise their unique creative voice?
So my biggest thing is the first thing I would ask would be there's nothing will be compromised with that. And I would ask them, do you use a calculator? And now if they said yes, it is the same concept with AI. Because when the calculator came out, everyone thought then you'll become, horrible at math. No, not really. Like it still depends. If I don't know 2 plus 2 is 4, then that's a different issue. Because if I put in 2 plus 5, then of course I won't get the right answer. But that's an input issue, not the tool issue. And AI is really just a tool. And so with the creative voice, the thing is we all have to make a decision. So AI can give you an output of some sort, and you can use it or you can't, or you don't have to. There's no one making you use the AI inputs. There's no one. There's no AI police saying whatever this AI gave you, you have to use it. There's no one there. You have to choose how much you want to use it and how little you want to use it. And yes, there's AI slop, and yes, there's people that have books completely written with AI, and there's no human involvement at all, and
Yeah.
that's horrible.
Yes.
And that's has a horrible vibe to it. But those
Yes.
people are going to be here today and gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
For the authors that are moving forward with every technological advancement that we have to use the tool to advance as fast as it's going, or we'll be left behind. And not left behind because the technology was here, left behind because we don't understand it. That's the reason why. So I would say for authors moving forward, I would say use AI to an extent. How does it fit in your business? Where I would say use AI to help you break through certain bottlenecks. If your bottleneck is just this workflow on, oh my gosh, emails. I'm horrible at sending emails. Well, guess what? I am too. So funny story. So I was behind on emails, like horribly behind on emails, because I like to try to reply to emails as fast as possible. When they build up, it's just hard to it's just hard to get in the groove of just replying after replying. And they're all about the same thing. And I was like, it's like I don't want to answer this like 5 different ways. And I was like, I just can't keep thinking like this because it's like too much on my brain overload. So what did I do as I was struggling for like a night or two? I was like, there's got to be an easy way for me to get through these emails and not have another 24 hours pass. And it seems like I'm not going to answer the email or I'm not effective. Because the longer you take to answer emails can say a lot about you. And I
Yeah.
don't want anyone to have the wrong impression that, oh, she takes 5 years to answer her emails. Oh, we shouldn't be with her. That type of thing. So what did I do? I created an AI tool to help me just for my emails.
Okay.
And I say, look, here's the email. Here's what here's the idea, what I have to say about what I want to say to them. But I don't have the wherewithal to make it professional and nice looking right now. I know what I'm trying to say. And my AI, which knows a lot about me, said, oh, okay, Destiny, here's how you could say what you're trying to say a lot better and professionally at the same instance. And so those emails, I think I only had like, was it 4 or 5 emails? those that were taking me, I feel like a day or two to answer, those took me 1 hour to answer. All I did was like change the name. Well, the AI changed the name, changed the subject area, changed all of it based on what I was saying, and my emails got out. So if you look, you may not need a whole big AI process. If you just have issues with the emails, use AI for that. It will help you out. It helped me out because
Wow.
that's one thing I do, especially when I have people that are want to be involved with me, and it just piles up because I have to read them later on in the day after my 9 to 5. I'm like, look, I don't have any. I may not have any more strength to look at another screen after a while. So that's one thing I would say for AI. It's just a leverage tool. That gave me leverage where like now I don't, number one, I don't feel guilty anymore because I'm not getting these emails. Number two, I have saved my bandwidth, so where all I had to do was look at the email, make sure it was spelled correctly, make sure it sounds enough like me, and I sent it off, and they got proper replies. Like I would say after I sent those emails on that particular jaunt of emailing, I got a reply the very next day
Oh
to
wow.
a couple of them. I was like, oh great, and the ball is back to rolling and having momentum. So that's where I feel like AI is just something where no one is saying it has to take over your whole life. There are people that it does, and they use it very extensively to the edge, but it doesn't have to be you, especially with your own voice. Now, I do understand if you were thinking about using AI for writing. Now, that's up to you in your spirit about how you use AI for writing
Yeah.
if you're going to sell it. Now, I know with AI writing, now I am still working on this because I'm thinking of an AI ghostwriter, and this is for people who have ideas for books, and they're just like, it's a great idea, but I won't ever really write that. I have a whole queue of stories I'm writing, and that's just not on the top of my list, and I don't think it's ever going to be at the top of my list, but I love the idea. How can I get it written? Well, the idea of ghostwriters have been around for years, but it's also not been available to most writers or independent writers because they cost a good bit, and
Yes.
so it's just never really been an option. But now with Claude, I was like, now it's an option for me. So I've been working on a story that I'm like, look, I love the idea, but I'm not gonna write it. I'm just not really going to write it. I just like the idea a lot, but I don't want to really write it by hand. I'm working on a couple other projects that are really close to my heart, so I'm writing those, but I'm not gonna write this. And so, I was like, hey, AI, let's go ahead and you write this story for me. Here's the whole premise. I know everything I want for it since I'm an outliner. So sorry about everyone who's not an outliner, or you may be in between. But and also I have friends who have AI help them as well. Like they don't have a full fledged outline. Like my outlines are like 10 pages long. Now
Yes.
they may not, they
They
may
are
not
ve-
be
they are very extensive.
right. So they may not have my format outlines. They may have bullet points, but the
Yeah.
point still gets across of beginning, middle, and end. That's the best part. And AI can deal with that portion as well. And of course, the human effort is you would have to go through it. That's the human part. You would say, "Oh, that pacing's kind of weird. Let me go ahead and tweak that a little bit and change this up right here and change this over here." And that's an AI ghostwriter. It has assisted you. You have came with the idea. It has written the words for you, and you have edited them. And then AI could do a book cover, book cover, and Bob's your uncle. You can put it on Amazon KDP. And I would say in good conscience because it's your story, it's your idea. AI has assisted you in the ghostwriting way to create it, and I see no rhythm with nothing wrong with that. The only issue would be if you did not humanly edit it or change it. Now that's where I don't really agree with that. I feel like that's a disservice to the readers in the community when you don't put in any effort, because again, it's a machine. It's a very helpful machine, but it's not a human. So it doesn't, it doesn't understand like, you can't meet her on page 2 and then propose to her on page 10. You're like, what? Like, what is that? That's not how that works. That's where you like
Right.
look, like that's it. Like, the book is over. We can't do that.
Right.
You have to really understand like romancing the beat. Using that resource like explain like, okay, here's the meet cute. Here's all these little things. The first date, the second date. There may be a third date.
Yeah.
Here's the conflict. The boyfriend from 5 years ago comes in all of a sudden for whatever reason. You have to give it a nuance. AI will never have the nuance as humans do, but it will have the broad picture, and that's where, as a humans, we paint in the nuance. So I would say if I was making that book and I took in the time to do all the nuances and help them correct the AI and do all those instances, that book should sell. Not because AI wrote it, but because of the human behind it. And so with all the overwhelm, there's no way to lose your creative voice. The only way to lose your creative voice is for you not to use it or not to want to implement it. That's how you lose your creative voice if you don't implement it.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. Thank you for that response. Um, as we get ready to come to a close, I want to ask you two more questions. The first being, who is the ideal attendee for the live stream webinar on August the 15th?
The ideal attendee is a beginner. I
Okay.
really would love the beginners to come in, either if you're an author or just a creator, like, hey, I'm interested in AI and I may have a book in me, or I may just want to be a creative and I just want to understand how to use AI for my creative process. That's who would be the best ones to come. Any beginners. So I'm not doing anything advanced. I know earlier I said agents and things like that. That's not what this webinar is for. It's for the complete beginners. If you're just starting on ChatGPT, if you're just starting on Claude, I'm really giving like a lot of beginner projects about how you can put them to work in your business or in your workflow today, that same day. And it's also a work along. So I'll be working on it, and I hope you'll be working on it with me. So by the time you leave, you have a lot of things that you have created for yourself and as you leave the webinar.
Okay. All right. And our last question is for anyone that is interested in joining the August 15th session, when is the registration deadline and where can they go to register?
So the registration deadline is going to be possibly the day before, so that Friday on the 14th, that last day for you to register. All right. So that's kind of how it is. I know it's at 10 a.m. So like, hey, get in. It's kind of like a mid-morning, like brunch type time. Kind of relax and learn as you're
Okay.
going through. So
Okay.
that's kind of the last day to register. Also, just kind of a heads up. So if you kind of want to keep up to date with everything, there'll be a webinar on the 15th of every month, about every second Saturday of every month.
Okay.
So it won't always be the 15th. If you want to kind
Okay.
of follow along on the webinar page, just see what we're doing, what you're up to, or if you want to follow along for anything else that we're doing when it comes to working with AI specifically.
Okay. And where can we find you? Where can they register for the event?
So you can register an event for the event on Eventbrite. You'll
Okay.
find me. You can see my name, Destiny Jordan. You'll see the logo for Crown and Ink Publishing. Again, it's the AI Toolkit for Creators. That's on August 15th.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for putting our creative minds at ease about utilizing AI. And again, she's having an event on August the 15th, and it's going to be a reoccurring event that's going to be monthly, right? And you can find her on Eventbrite, Destiny Jordan, and the name of her company is Crown and Ink Publishing Incorporated. Is that correct?
And if
All
you're not looking for a public company or just want to have any cool vibes, or we talk about a lot of writerly things, you can see us on Pen by Design podcast, wherever you find your podcast, Spotify, Apple, or even YouTube.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, Miss Destiny Jordan. We know that you have a busy life, and thank you so much for taking out time from your day to join us over here on Conversations with Keysha YouTube channel. And I hope to talk with you all soon. And Destiny, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you all so much for having me. Hope to see you guys. See you guys soon.
All right. Bye, guys.